And good morning. Happy Saturday, everyone. Yep. Phone is set up. Network set up. I think you can hear me. Ah, and one more thing. It's in the Discord. I think we're all set up and ready to go. So what we've been doing is converting some GD script to Rust code. Got a couple little takeaways for this. Remember to register your classes. That is apparently very, very important if you want to use them. Interesting. I'm not getting sampled, downsampled. Okay, I'm going to kill OBS and try streaming to another place. Oh, you don't understand the difference between use and mod. Mod just declares that there's a module there, and use makes it available in your current module. So use pulls things in to be used in that module, whereas mod just declares that, hey, this does exist. So in the top of a library, you would, or top of an application, either in main or lib.rs, you would declare all of your modules, and then compiler would know I need to go find this file and compile it. Whereas use would, let's say in this example, make these functions available to this current module. So in this case, GD native, I import all of everything off of GD native, and a couple of things become available. In fact, I could probably get rid of that, because init is imported. Ooh, but this is so weird, because then we have init. Probably why we have GD native there. Is it going to tell the difference between this init and that init? Anyhow, does that make sense, Revit? All right, I am going to actually kill OBS and give it a reconnect. So it's going to be a little rough here for just a minute. I want to see if I can get OBS downsampling stuff, or not OBS, but Twitch downsampling. So I think I hit an encoder that being kind to me. So I will be right back. I'll leave my chat up so I can see what you're saying. Okay, here we go. Oh, starting soon. It's back. Oh, still not trans. Hmm. What game am I making? I am making Legacy. Let's see, is my Twitch bot running? Probably not. Oh, it is. 2 days. So I'm going to go ahead and set a little command here for the bot. But Legacy is kind of a mix between like Don't Starve, 1 Hour, One Life. So you have a bit of building, exploration, and fighting very early on in the whole prototype. But essentially, the world is generated, and people get their own view of the world and overlapping experiences. That's really, really vague, but best way I have to describe it in a very short period of time. Actually, do I have? Probably not on this project. Hey, Cat Pheasant, how's it going? Now I'm gonna butcher this, but thank you for the follow, Galalazao. I think I'm saying that right. Galalazao. Well, thank you for the follow. It was yesterday after the stream, I'm guessing. Okay, so we're still in the process of going through, playing around with Rust, Godot, seeing what there is. There are some elements which are not going to migrate very well. And I've chatted with people in the Discord, and it looks like they're going to be working on async support very, very soon. Mostly for, see if I can find an example, for a specific use case. Ah, here we do have a couple here. Let me see if I can find some more. Ah, anyhow, I don't see it. But okay, log into GD. Ah, this is a good one. So in this case, this is just GD script, right? And I wish I had Vim syntax coloring for this. It'd be a little bit more appealing. Actually, is there a Vim plugin for that? GD script 3 syntax highlighting. Ooh, they do have a couple of them. Okay, we're gonna do a quick aside. Browser. Oh shoot, I probably didn't set all of these up, did I? Oh, wait, that's okay. Checking the previews. When I killed OBS, when I restarted, I didn't reconfigure everything. Okay, well, it looks like it's happy. I didn't have to reconfigure the browser. So let's go through here. I personally would like the syntax coloring. I don't know about you guys. Or I don't know about all y'all. There we go. Wow, so descriptive. Tell me more. Okay, it's not it. Got some demos, bug reports. Topics. Work in progress. Well, it looks like it's either going to be this one. No, not that one. We've got 3 contenders. We've got this one from Wabug, Calvin, The last one is going to be this one over here. Max. Ah, this looks easy. We'll just do this. Okay, back to the code. Plug and here. There we go. Got that going. Man, I wish that I could get downsampling working. Usually, you know, if I start like an hour ago, I was running late today. They'll downsample me. It's really nice. Although my playback rate is really only 1.2 megabit per second. It's not too bad. Okay, there we go. Oh, look at that. Color. Okay, where were we? All right, I'm so much of a front-end engineer at times. Like, or why do they add glitter? Bass boat. Like paint. Is it for the bass? For the rednecks? I don't know, but I like the glitter. I like the colors here. Image comes clear. Cool. Okay, so basically one thing that they don't support yet in kind of GDScript native Rust stuff is this yield syntax. Kind of like a continuation where the first part of the function will run. So when somebody clicks the, I guess it's the login button, we'll collect some information and then call connect to network. And then once global connect network emits a signal, the completed signal, then this function will continue going. So it's a bit async. And the way it would kind of look in Godot code or native code, you can't do yet because they don't support async functions in GD syntax. So really, I would have to connect. It would probably look something more like this if I was to do this in GD script. Global.connect. Then I'd have to say like on net connect. So when that signal gets emitted, then I'd probably also have to give it what I want it to call, which would probably be on net connect, something like that. Then I'd have some function like so, and then it would just keep running, right? But it's so nice to be able to just toss a yield in there like this instead of having to excuse me, instead of having to basically separate your functions and split them up. Because you can see you can have like on login pressed begin or whatever, and then like on login pressed part 2, etc. And it really doesn't read well as far as code goes. Oh, wait, no. Undo that one. But that's not how the GD script is right now. We have this, it's gonna be fine. So I'm wondering if I'm to the case where I should be doing some of this in GD script, some of it in Rust. We've learned a number of things from just implementing some simple scripts and converting some simple things. Or if we should just keep going and just plow through, build the rest of it out in Rust code. But kind of like to just keep going and get a little bit more experience with building it out in Rust code. Well, I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay. Now where is Godot? Something that I changed yesterday. So if we go into our scenes, go into welcome. It's our welcome scene. Nothing too fancy. We've got some little hidden elements down here. But basically, I deconstructed the large script into a number of much smaller scripts. So we have this script attached here, which, I clicked on the wrong button. There we go on the right. So I have some scene changer script, which is GD native. It's attached to these two elements here. And then I have this little bugger, which toggles whether the, let's see, how do you explain this? Okay, if I take a step back, let's say you wanted to connect to a development server. Right? It's really nice just to be able to enter an IP address or whatever. Otherwise, connect to production. So if you're working on the client, just being able to connect to production and make sure that everything works and go through some unit tests, whatever, some scenarios is nice to be able to do. And that's what this does. Now here, this one, I thought it would be interesting to have a little script that what it does is make a component visible if it's in debug mode. So I made that little script there. So let's go to the code so I can show you those scripts. So we have debug visible, super simple. Extends from canvas item, really empty constructor. And when it's ready, it checks to see if the OS is, or, well, this is kind of silly, but this is where the little check is for if it's a debug build or not. So just silly little script, but it makes it really, really flexible. I can toss that on whatever I want now and make it visible to not whatever I want. I mean, not like the 3D nodes, but the 2D nodes, the menu item stuff, anything that extends from canvas item. I can toss this on. Also, the, not debug, what is it? Develop toggle. Also much smaller. It just sets the state. So it gets the development flag out of local storage and sets whether or not the button is pressed. And then if you do press the button, it stores it. Then there was also scene changer. Because if you click on a button, you probably want to be able to go to the next scene. This one's interesting though, because here we have a property. When we played around with properties on this one, I'm gonna get rid of this one. Oh, let's take a look. If we go back into Godot and click on login, in the inspector we have script variables. We have the next scene, and using the type hint, so it starts out null. I would rather it start out with something reasonable. But using the type hint, we can click on that little folder icon to the right and choose different kinds of scenes. So I could go back to, let's say, Bootstrap if I click on that. Oh, wrong one, scene. Then we can play that. So if I click on create account, nothing happens. If I click on login, it actually reload. Oh, you didn't see that. Do that. I'll click on account, nothing. Click on login, it's a blank screen. What do I Bootstrap didn't continue forward? We might have a bug somewhere. Anyhow, let's fix that little with default. Just want an empty string. we get the scene change, an option. All I'm wondering is, if we have a default, is it actually going to set it? GD script, GD debug. There we go. We'll just borrow that. Cargo build. Takes 2 seconds. Back over to Godot. So we still have null here. We go to a different scene and come back. I found that I have to quit to the project list, come back into Godot in order to get the properties reload. I know the sizing's all wrong, but hopefully it's still going to be visible. Uh-oh, that looks like it's black. No, it came back, okay. Go back to the file system, scenes, welcome. Okay, so it's empty now, which is good. I would rather be empty than null. But what I'm curious about is if the output is going to say that it's setting it to something. No, it's not. Okay, good. Nothing down there, I ran it. Okay, back to the code. Actually, let me see. I need to run this. To resize that window. There we go. Now I can see everything again. Otherwise, it's in full screen and it covers up OBS and I can't see certain things. Okay, so this did not get called. So if it's using the default, we still have none. We don't have to check to see if it's empty or whatever. Good. Now we have scene manager. When somebody does click on it, they'll go and in Godot, we actually use a signal for this. Look at this. We have the signal and the script. Click on the node. You can see that when it's pressed on the current node, that's what the little dot there is before the double colon. So if we disconnect and just set it up again, click on press, we'll hit connect, choose the exact same element, and then I have to give it change scene. I wish that was more obvious. Even if I choose like advanced or something, there's like nothing to bind it to in there. Oh, interesting. It could be one shot. I didn't know that they had that. That's neat. Or deferred. Anyhow, we'll do a connect. And now it's connected. Yeah, let's try to get the login scene working. So login, couple of things. We're going to make your scenes, login. I'm just going to copy it from one project to the other. Copy login, tscn to /legacy. Okay. Back to Godot. File system. Now we have login. There's going to be all sorts of stuff broken. Oh, login.gd is not there. That's right. We're going to open that anyways. Yep. Just save. There's our login screen. A typical login screen for me. Login used to actually hit a button there. It has a signal. That's not going to be useful. I'm going to disconnect that. Okay. Now for creating a new class, start in lib, just to make sure we get this right. Login. Use GD native. Struct login. Simple login. Function init. It needs to be underscore init. With owner. I wonder if we need owner at the moment. Now, should we mimic the exact same structure as we had here? I'm guessing this should be broken down into a number of smaller scripts, like grab focus. I just want that to be its own little script. Some of these, though, unhandled input. Where would we enter that? Yes, we could put that on the form itself or somewhere high enough up that just looks for unhandled escape. Okay. I see two scripts here. This one, this one. Maybe this one could be a third script. So let's make three scripts out of this. I don't think any of these needs to be a login, particularly. Maybe this one. This could be a login. Okay. And for that, it's probably just going to be canvas or something, isn't it? Oh, extends from control. That was at the top. We're going to derive from native class. Inheriting from control. We have methods. This needs to return self. It's left. There we go. Yeah, that's login. We don't have a little button or whatever wired up yet. But these other little ones, I want to get these out of the way. So grab focus. Let's create a grab focus. Mod grab focus. Grab focus. There we go. Should you use crate for binding to dbus for CV work, or just try to make your own stuff? Are you talking about computer vision stuff? Or is that your resume? Like CV stands for, what is it? I forget. In other parts of the world, they use CV instead of resume, and I forget if it's like curriculum vitae or something. Yeah. If you are doing resume stuff, I'll just make your own stuff. It depends on what you want to do. I mean, if you want to be, um, hmm, I don't know. I would just be intelligent about it. And if it's going to be something simple that you could write all your own, I would just do that. Just sending messages to dbus. Yeah, go ahead and write it yourself. Or have two versions. I mean, if I'm looking at somebody's resume and they have some open source projects, I usually go and look at the code. If it's nicely organized and they did everything from the ground up, probably a couple extra points there. Unless it's something like they tried to implement something that nobody in the right mind would ever implement, like sort. There's certain things that if I hired you and then you started to write a brand new sort function, just because, no, don't do that. It just doesn't work. There's so many sort functions out there that have been battle hardened and that are performant, and especially like if you're coming from like doing stuff in C++. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you just wouldn't do another sort. Anyhow, sorry for the rant. Yeah, just be intelligent about it. Like some of the like the basics. Like I wouldn't go through and like make hash map. Right? Like oh no, nobody's gonna do that. See, this is going to be grab focus. I wonder what that component was that I was grabbing focus on. Oh, username. And username is a line edit, I think. We're gonna return self. Yeah, exactly. I would just be smart about it. Yeah, and if it's something that's small, you just want to do it for fun, I would say, do the whole thing. Especially if it's a small project, it then also reveals how you organize code. Are you hiding types? All that stuff. Just a little bit more you can do. You have a little bit more code in a big project, or in a small project. All right, there we go. Oh, native class. Oh, was it init? Yeah, there we go. Oh, small restaurant management added app in React and Node. Cool. Is it like menus, like those little kiosk things, right? Where they enter the order, all that stuff. Okay, so in here we're going to export. I think it's called ready function ready. In this case, we take a self and an owner. That has no return. And in this case, we are going to call, it's just whatever.grab focus. Okay. Does that actually work? Grab focus is private, struct is private. Ah, menu management page. Oh, very cool. There we go. There is grab focus. Now this escape. To me, this is, so this code right here is very useful if you have some sort of scene, and at the very top of the scene, you could attach this. And then if anybody hits escape, they go back one out of the menu. It's like hitting the back button. And that's what that's doing here. Yeah, JWT for session management, bcrypt, encryption, etc. Yep, that makes sense. Cool stuff. That's neat. Actually, I have a friend that built out a whole thing. He was actually charging a lot of money for it too, because there aren't many people building out little systems like that. Okay, next one. Let's see. What do we call this? What do we call this thing here? Is this the escape scene changer? Hmm. Are you a student? Oh, very cool. Oh, 3 years ago. That's not very far away. Making me feel old. Yeah. Well, there's lots of stuff to do. It's great that you're going back and learning all this stuff. This is a, I mean, that's it's dedication. All right, I'm gonna give this thing some horrible name. Mod. Let's see. Are we going to make the escape key something that is swappable? So, scene change on key. On key scene change. Hmm. Naming things is so hard in programming. It's one of those things I struggle with. Naming things. I mean, like even my kids are named in alphabetical order. Just to reduce the search space for a name. And never too old to learn. Okay, I'm gonna name this scene change on key. So bad. Okay. sort this. Are you learning C++? And I'm learning Rust. I've been doing this for 6 months now, learning Rust. Decided to start streaming when I decided to really start learning Rust. I'd played around with it a little bit, compiled some little hello world things. Okay, get a file here. Oh, you've done most of your stuff with JavaScript. That's my day job, actually. Change on key. Let's give that an impl. Function init. Okay, what should we use for a control on that? Change the type on this. Looks like control is kind of the highest one up there. I could use node, although does node get that function? What was it? It was unhandled input. I think node gets that. We could just extend from node. Yeah, it's very much the same. It's kind of the way I describe programming is um, you're learning it for a reason, right? And it's very much like learning a foreign language. Why are you learning the foreign language? It's because I'm going to go to, let's say, Japan, so I'm learning Japanese, right? So if you're going into, say, work on old banking systems, you might learn COBOL, right? Because you're going into old banking. But there is that language, like spoken language or written language parallel there. And I think one of the most important things is to use it every day. And even if I don't stream on the day, I will still use Rust because I'm learning it. Because I want to know Rust, and like a spoken language, the more you use it, just the better you get at it. That and finding other people that you can use the language with. It's really weird, but discussing with somebody else code that you've written will help you write better code. Even the stream here has helped me to write better code, Rust code. I mean, if I'm using Neuron, you've been a fantastic mentor to me with Rust. Which is really hard to explain to my friends, or like people I work with, or people. It's like, yeah, I found this thing. I've been learning Rust, and actually, I don't tell anybody that I stream Rust, or that I stream Twitch at all. So it's kind of like a second life for me, really. But so I'll be on here doing this, learning Rust, and when I tell somebody, I've got a great mentor, like, oh, how? Then there's all these questions, right? Oh, what's their name? Like, I have no idea. Goes by Musean. On the internet somewhere. Oh, wow. Okay. Inherit node. It's fantastic. The internet is amazing. Yeah, and I've been very, um, I don't know, constrained. You know, I love Googling for things and searching for things on the internet, but I've been very constrained and not gone looking. Figure if it's something that somebody wants to share, they'll share it. Otherwise, well. So, under respect privacy there. So we have this. Now we need to handle that function, unhandled input. We're going to take a look at the documentation on this. I want to see if what this looks like. Oh yes, and they were having issues. I'm going to flip through a couple of tabs real quick. I can't. I lost it. All right, Box GD native. There we go. Use this one. Okay, so it is on Node. That's good. We wanted to know that. And this is the method signature. Ah, it's an optional event. Why is it optional? Can you get a none event? What do you do if you get a none event? Okay, well, we're going to use this, but I don't understand why it would be none ever. Unsafe? Oh goodness. Yeah, most everything in here is actually unsafe. Any of the actually, that's a good question. Why is this unsafe? I don't know why this is specifically unsafe. Mutated in tandem, perhaps. They have a different setup for here. Let's go back to the browser. Your data. So if we go back to GD native, they have user data, and here they give you some options on basically controlling the locking on your object, your structure. Public and not private. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know why they did that. Actually, I forgot to look at the return type. Okay, nothing. It's fine. So inside of here, if event is none, we just return. If what? Oh, if event is none, I don't know. I'm not going to do it that way. Just so we're not flipping back and forth. That's what we have. Well, unsafe. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I mean, maybe it's because it's on our object, a native class. We inherit from node. So this element on node is unhandled. I'm not sure. I think we'd have to look at the bindings. Okay. It's actually a fantastic question for the GD native people. Let's see, I'm going to ask them, hello again, why are, oops, let's be excited, we'll use an exclamation, hello again. Why are functions like unhandled input unsafe? Oh, context Okay, well, I posed that question to their chat. We'll see if they respond. What were we doing? Oh, if the event is input event key. Oh, interesting. Dangling pointer, what did I go? I don't know. I mean, this exclusive reference, the exclusive borrow here, the self. I mean, maybe we could have two threads calling us at the same time, or perhaps there's something with the input. No, I doubt that. This function itself is marked as unsafe, not the. Let's go look at input event. That might shed some light on this. Okay, we have input event or class input event inherits resource reference counted. Okay, I don't see anything sketchy in there. That seems fine. So it must be how it's called. All right, so if let some event, now we have our none filtered out. Oh, screen's frozen. It just updated for me. If it stays frozen, I would probably just refresh your browser. I know sometimes the transcoding is a little weird and does that stuff. Not sure why. Okay, I'm gonna give it a refresh as well. It seems fine. I see the cursor blinking on my screen. Memory safety. No. Oh, it just came back. Okay. Well, if event is input key, this is kind of like a. This is how you check the type in Godot in GD script. You say, oh, if this thing is of this type, then do something. Of course, we can't do that in Rust. So we have input event, have is action, a couple elements on the left. Is action pressed? Is action type? Event, interesting. Is there input event key? Oh, there is event key. It inherits from input event with modifiers. Okay. Oh, here's a class hierarchy. Okay. I see. So how do I say that I only want to accept things that take this, or can I upcast? Let's go back. We have input event. We have cast. Okay. We could cast it from that to that other type. It would return T. So do they have any other method to do that? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so we'll do the cast, check the type if it can cast it. Oh, there's no code attached to the cast. Okay, back to the code. So if that is equal to event, we do this. If let some, I'm just going to reuse event again. We're going to cast that to input event key. Oh, you think I'm on the wrong scene? Oh, I am on the wrong scene. Thank you. Thank you, Dynamic Donkey. You are correct. There we go. Reposition OBS or misclicks. All right. So if we have some event, and the event can be cast to a key, we'll do something. Now, there's two different ways to do this. We could either say, do it like this, or we could just filter them out earlier. Do we want the indentation or not? What does it look like without? If if event.is none, turn. Well, that gets rid of one. And then we have the cast, and then we're going to check to see if it's a specific key. I kind of like keeping it tabbed out a little bit. I don't mind multiple returns in a function. I really don't. Especially if the functions are kept short and they're not like 3,000 lines long. Worked at a place where I actually stirred up some trouble for myself when I refactored the 3,000 line function. There was actually a 3,000 line function into multiple pieces. And by doing that, ended up reducing like the total line count. It pissed off. That was like some guy's baby. He was like the guy that. Anyhow, time's passed. Yeah, don't get all like clingy to code, like especially if you're on a team's code, not your code. So I'm just trying to look at this code, see where I left off. So we cast it to an event key. Did you break up code anyhow? Yes. I actually broke it up because it was crashing the editor. He had a machine that could handle it, the rest of us didn't. Okay, now in this case, we're looking for scan code. There is a scan code. There's a get scan code function. That'll return an I64 if event.get scan code is equal to let's just do let scan code equal that an I64, and then we will, I guess we could match that. Now in this case, we want to match it to this key escape. Now, I don't know where that exists over there. We're going to go look. Global constant, of course. Okay. Back to the code. What was it? Global constants. Was it static? I don't remember. Oh yeah, it's just on there. Okay. Key escape. Oh look, it's got that. So if it's that, then we actually want to do a scene change, I think. Now in this case, we want to go to a specific scene, and we're going to pillage some code from another file, scene changer. Okay. There's a number of things. Actually, this is going to be very, very, very similar. mean, it's so similar because we're going to need the register function, the getter and the setter, and then we'll just have some dinky little function like this. So really, the only thing that we're changing from this is this guy here. I wonder if, let's go look at Godot. I want to check to see its signals. Okay, go in here. I want a button. What's that button? Okay, so if we have a button, control, I'm looking for some sort of unhandled input, script change. Oh. Hey Carter, how's it going? All right, now what is this function going to do? All right. We're going to see what it looks like. Oh, the type is wrong. So that's an object. We need node. Now it'd be great if we could choose the key. I wonder if they have a key chooser hint. So they have, let's go look at it. Oh shoot, been in the wrong screen again. Okay, so basically all I did was copy the code that we had been looking at. I did duplicate the code. Terrible copy paster. Rename some of these. I think oftentimes people will spend too much time trying to dry up code. I mean, if you can, great. If you can't, it's okay. Not building an ivory tower, no matter how much you want to. Get over yourself. Oh, why can't I just include that? So I could include that. And technically using the, was it UCSF? You know, USCF? Oh, what is it called? Rust, universal calling function. Hold on, I'm looking something up. Yeah, universal function call syntax. I could probably abuse this and make this work. But basically in Rust, the whole idea of having something like a self is by convention. So this here itself is the first thing because it's the this in like a C++. And there are ways where you could call that function on something else, but pass in a different object's self. Hey, someone 5209. Happy Saturday. But yeah, using the UFCS stuff, I could deduplicate this. However, I'm considering actually adding another property here, which means I would probably have to duplicate this anyways, because we would then have two things that we're registering here. If we can register the key. So in this case, let's see if we can have a hint. Look at the docs real quick. Going back. There's our modules. Back up to this. Modules, init, and inside of here, property, enum hint. I'm looking for keys. I don't think it's gonna work. Enum hint, no. We just give it a number of things. Property builder. And I think string hint. They don't have key in here. I've used file before, and that gives us a little file chooser, which is really nice. They don't have key, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to say it says only ever used with the escape key, which is fine. And then we need to have scene manager. Go to self.scene. Yep, let's import that. Scene manager. Hey, good morning. Oh, automatic switching in OBS works fine for you. I'm on OS 10. I don't know if it works okay for me. How do you even set up automatic switching? Is it a plugin, a module? I would love to get automatic switching working. Just not sure. I haven't tried it in a while, and last time I looked, automatic switching was a non-starter on OS 10. Oh, it's built in OBS. Oh, you see, this is why. If let some and I didn't feel like unwrapping it. Oh, and that's one of those. It needs some setup. Interesting. Display capture and tab between windows. Yeah, I tend not to do the whole display. Actually find that the stream works better for me if I have the windows at near exact size for streaming. I can get my CPU usage down really, really low if I'm not downsampling it. That, and I am a stickler for fonts. So if that font isn't coming across like sparkling, then I'm gonna go fix it. But it looks okay. And then if I do the downsampling, because OBS downsampling high DPI stuff on OS 10 isn't wonderful. which is why I do partial elements. Why I don't do the whole screen, because if I do the whole screen, it's downsampling stuff and it doesn't look as crisp. So that's just me. I don't like doing it like this where I just have like things nested and nested and nested in each other. I mean, I could just unwrap elements and keep it tabbed out. I think the first thing I want to do is if some scene oh my goodness, come on. That does not need to be mutable. Okay. Oh, it's private. There we go. We'll just borrow the scene. Go to takes anything that can be Azref stir. Fine. Good. And one of my other goals with the stream was to not use like 5 megabit per second stream or whatever. Like I'm not a gamer. Like this is text on a screen. Why in the world am I sending 1.2 megabits per second for a blinky cursor? Right? Still, to me, it's a lot, but it helps when I like scroll up or down. You get it faster, sort of. It's not as blocky when it transitions. So, I think it's okay. Let's try this out. We have on scene change. And okay, so we did first one, focus grabber, second one with that. Let's get those two wired up. Now there's a little bit of a dance to wire these things up in Godot. Not too bad though. Oh, they responded to me in the GD Native Dev channel in Discord. Toast Eater says they are not unsafe, but accessing non-reference counted Godot object is. The examples make the method themselves unsafe because that makes the code shorter. I see. You can use unsafe blocks in the method body if you want to have finer granularity. Let's try that out. Let's actually go back. All right, going back to the code. Where were we? Where were this one? It was saying that it's not unsafe, but it makes putting these things up easier because oftentimes you will end up calling functions in the GD native API that are unsafe. So let's pretend that get scan code was unsafe. We'd have to do this, or whatever. But it's not unsafe. So it's just easier for them to mark it as unsafe in the API because you can still use safe functions. Yeah, that's neat. Give it a build. Show that it links. Good. Okay, now we'll go to Godot, which is interesting. So we should try to use them as safe functions if we can. Okay, and from there it's just kind of personal taste. Oh, I'm in the browser, you're in Godot. I'm gonna go back to welcome. Oh, it was login, we were working on login. Okay, now in this scene, if there is an unhandled input, we want that other little script on there. What do we call that? It's from control or node. I think it was node. Last name was... Gotta go find that real quick. Scene change on key. Variable name. I'm gonna put this in the general scripts area. GDNS, there we go. Create that file. Now, you have to remember to go into the inspector and choose the GD native library. If you don't, nothing happens. And also give it a name. You have that in your copy buffer, makes it pretty easy. Okay, now you have to hit this little save button here. If you don't do that, bad things happen. Just remember, always save and always bind. So now we should be able to go into that scene. Where is... I want to close this scene. We're going to hit save there. I closed it, open it again. Where's my script stuff? Okay, I'm curious because if we go back to the code, we do have this. We do have register. Register is supposed to do this and register a scene. I hope scene isn't like some strange keyword we can't use. All right. Sure. Save and close. Load it open again. Resize it. Go back to Godot. Ah, now it exists. Okay. I don't like that. I don't like having to reload Godot in order to get that. But luckily I don't change those things very often. Okay. So if we hit escape from inside the login, we want to go back to welcome. To scenes. Welcome. Give that a save. Now let's test that out. I'm gonna hit play. I'm gonna go to the one with the game scene. Okay, now if I hit login, oh, I forgot to wire that up. Okay, so on the welcome screen, that's the welcome button, and that welcome button. There's a little signal attached, all that, but it doesn't have a next scene chosen. That's going to be the scene, login scene. All right, let's try running this again. Click login, we go to login screen. Now if I hit escape, supposed to go back. Didn't do. Why didn't it do it? Do I have to have... I think I'm hitting escape. I'm hitting escape. Now to debug that, what we would do, first, let's just debug everything that's coming in here. Godot has this neat little Godot debug thing. Give it an event. Now luckily we don't have to rebuild or restart Godot. because it'll automatically load the library when we run the game again. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna click login. I'm gonna hit escape. Oh, nothing. Oh, what did I miss? What did I miss? Maybe we should make it unsafe. Is a function signature different for those? I wouldn't expect that to change, like in the CABI format. Oh, it's not exported. Wow. There we go. And Pascarlo, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Oh, expected option found node. Ah, yes. Okay, now things are working right. What is going to be node? That should do it. Cargo build. Drink some water. Give it a run. Now if we hit escape, yay, it goes back. Go back and forth now. Aha. See its sum, it's got an input event, this, etc. Now we're gonna go check and make sure that the other function that we need for, what was it? Oh, autofocus. Okay, that is exported. Let's attach that. Go back to Godot. So when we are in the login screen, I want this field here automatically get focus when it comes in. I don't want to have to hit tab. I don't want to have to grab the mouse in order to go over to it or tap on the screen. Should do the right thing. I think it was grab focus. Yep, grab focus. Copy that. We're going to need that a bunch. Go up one, go up two. Scripts. Give it a name. Create that. Now remember, we have to choose the library. Script, paste. And this is all set. Good. Remember to save. Save the scene, and we'll give it a play. So if we hit login, yay, now we actually have the cursor in that field. I don't have to type anything else. I know I left the junk in there. It starts out with actually my my dev login, so I don't. So I can just hit enter. It's good. I hit escape. It comes back. Nice. Okay. Now I'm gonna try to get login working. Got the easy ones out of the way. Oh, there's more. In the future, so in the Godot Engine GD native dev channel, I replied with, ah, perfect, thank you, in response to him explaining about the unsafe stuff. And he says, or they say, in the future, we might simplify the API to a unsafe once model, where you can assume an unsafe pointer to be safe and then use it from safe context. It should help cut the clutter when you need to do a lot of node accessing. This is fine because one, Unsafe block already indicates that you took over the responsibility to make sure it's safe. Main thing you have to make sure is that the object behind the pointers are still alive. If you got them from owner or get node, they're likely to last until the method returns. That is, you're not threading. Threading makes everything 100 times worse. Oh wow. Okay. Let me check the scene. We're gonna go to code. So we did ready, unhandled input. Now for this one, actually I have two stages here. We've got um, connect, everything up into, I guess connect could just be first thing. Why does this? Okay, so sure, clearing the error on that field. There is an error field. To me, it looks like it should be more like this. So when you hit the button, any existing error goes away, and then we start connecting. Once we have a connection, a TCP connection, then we send some information across the wire. Nice. I wonder if there's a nice way to get those. It's just so easy to get these things in Godot. And these are member variables. Basically bind them when this scene starts up, and then you can just use error, username, password. Even this. So easy. Quite a bit longer in Rust code. I miss all that sugar. All right, so login. And where are we going to put the login code? We go to Godot. We have to decide, is this going to be part of the form? Maybe. The error, oh, the error is down below it. So we have username, we have password, we've got a button. I also want to make sure that if somebody hits enter, the button is pressed, or rather the same thing is executed as the button. Okay, so I think we're going to attach this to the form. Either that or create some other node that it'll be attached to, some little hierarchy. Not going to do anything on ready because that's already done. Oops, too far. What about enter? I must have just been using tab to get over to the button instead of hitting enter. I also want to handle the enter key to cause this to happen. I think we're going to do that too. I'm just going to call it do login. So we're going to export a function. Do login. It's going to take a self, an owner, out of control. All right, so we have do login. This. I'm going to set the error text. Ah, all right, now the path for this, it's just going to be error. Something that can go into node path. What can go into node path? I thought we could have strings go into node path. Is that not the case? From Godot string. Huh. What if I help it along with the into? Nope. Found enum option. Expected unit time. Oh, I don't have a semicolon at the end of that. No wonder. Type annotation needed. Great. Pretty cool how you can actually reference a property of something here. All right, so we need to figure out what type that is. We can cast that, or at least know what to reset it to. So this thing here says it's a label. Easiest way to see that, because like all of this stuff, okay, the type is kind of gone. Unless you know the iconography, what that means in here, you probably tell with those icons. And even the one above this filter properties box, you don't know what it is. So I usually look at the element just below the filter properties. These are done in hierarchy. Excuse me, not, that's right, what did you say, that collapse? Well, interesting, it's not collapsing at all. I was trying to collapse the label property so you could see that it would be label, control, node, canvas item. So see the class hierarchy here in Godot. But because we're going to be changing the text property, we need to say this thing's a label. So give me a label. Why does it want two elements? Oh, and self. It has self. Oh, because of the here, underscore. Type annotation needed. It can't infer it. Oh, it's unsafe. Which part of that is unsafe? Only a couple pieces of it are unsafe. Like anything that does anything. I'm gonna hide the unsafe bits. Is there anything in here that doesn't need to be unsafe? No. There there, we'll just hide it. There. Now we can use the InnoSafe function and leave all the safe chaos over there. Or the unsafe. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, we're living on the edge. Taking risks. Writing code. Okay, so we're going to get that. But now that we have that, let error equal that. Error, come on, error dot. We have like a set text on this. Label. Get text. Oh, yep, and set text. It takes a Godot string. So much easier than typing Godot string. Oh, it's an option. Okay, do this. We'll match that. We'll leave ourselves a little nasty gram to the user of this if they happen to not have error node in their scene. If we couldn't find it, we'll get a none back to the error. It's going to be multiple lines. Could not find error label. And because we're just going to panic. There. That's how we roll. Unsafe, panics. Oh, missing match arm. Come on, do it for me. So if we do have one, we just return it. And we can call set text on it, maybe. Which one do you think is unsafe? Set text or... yeah, that's set text. All right, so that sets the error text back to normal. Now we need to connect, which we're probably not going to get through today. Let's at least grab these bits of information and kind of write this out. We're going to not get into the login bit, or really the connect bit, because the next stage, probably the next episode is going to be, I said episode, the next stream is going to be setting up some of the network stuff and getting into that. Because now that we have something that we can poke in order to start the network, we'll need to build that out. Let's get the PB copy there. Come on. Doesn't want to go to the front of the line. There we go. So at this point, we're going to do the connect. Okay. A reminder there. Now for these bits. We want the username text. It's not going to be mutable. It's not going to be a label. Let's go figure out what that is. It is a line edit. You can see above this here, there's line edit. Right. Expand all properties, collapse all properties. Expand collapser is broken. Right, line edit. And its name was username. I'm guessing it's going